I've rearranged the garage. The brakes in the center, locked into place, not going anywhere. I got my aluminum right here. I'm gonna take this plastic off, which is super satisfying, and start marking out inch locations down the line for all of the rib spars. And by rib spars, I mean spar ribs, or just ribs. Those will be the stiffeners. So per the plans, it calls for 0.025 thick, which is what that is, by 1/2 inch by 1/2 inch. So it's a inch and then folded in half. So I'm gonna use my brake to chop the sheet in half, and then I'm going to use this function to bend it. So that's the project for the next couple days. Clean cut. Exactly an inch. I'll start measuring these out so that they fit appropriately on the ribs. A bunch of different pieces. Got 28 of these. Right now my estimate is that, at least based off of the length of this and the length from here to here at the 3 spots, I'll need one of these per rib. So there are 28 of the large ribs, and then one of these should cover 4 of these. So I've got 8 to cover the 32 nose ribs. And I have extra just in case I need some later. So fingers crossed I won't need any more. Gonna chop up these individual pieces so that they will fit in between right here. Gonna take a measurement, and on the plans I don't think it calls out the clearance from the edge, so we're gonna figure that out. About 6.5 inches from there to there. I'm gonna leave a little bit of space, so I'm gonna go a nice even 6. That's the item right there. I'm gonna read through the plans and I'll be right back to make sure I don't mess this up. As far as I can tell, I can't seem to find an official length on those stiffeners. I'm just gonna check the Bearhawk forums real quick. Alright, this guy's saying that rib stiffener was eyeballed. Stiffener leg, would definitely be better to flip the leg. Just eyeballed them. Cool. Alright, I'm gonna go with the 6 inches and eyeball the position. The plans do call for it to be parallel to the edge of the rib, so parallel to this line right here. So I'll make sure that's the case and measure that out. Once I make the stiffeners, I will rivet them up with MS-2470 83s, A Alpha Delta 3. Each nose stiffener gets 4. Your stiffener in the middle rib gets 5 or 6, depending on the location. Stiffeners get 5, rib spar attach angles get 6, and those are also a different thickness, so we're not going to make those today. Awesome, let's get started. I'm going to measure these out. 6. This actually has a stop. So I'm gonna slide this in, move this to the 6-inch mark. And 4 6-inch pieces. Now I need to make 32. That was the first one. You have 7 more. It'd take like 5 minutes. 32, like that. Okay, so I just did a test bend off camera. And I think I'm gonna have to measure the midpoint. I'm not sure if you can see it, but it's a little lopsided when I eyeballed it. So I'm gonna just mark the center line with a Sharpie. That way it'll fit nicely in this ridge, or I can line up the blade against that line and then do the whole press. Something like that. Here's 32. I made a couple extra just in case I mess up. I'll mark all 35 of these on the center line. Alright, so what I've discovered is that there is a tick mark on here. 4 degrees off the center line actually is perfect for the 1/2-inch mark. So I'm going to do that, use my square, that way I don't have to spend time lining it up each time. Perfect. And there's the proof, 1/2 mark. Now it's time to start breaking. Hours work, cut these into 4 pieces each, and bent these to 90 degrees. Time to drill the rib stiffeners. I've got this makeshift jig set up, so just throw the stiffener in there, and then it drills the corner hole exactly where I want it, and then I don't need to do any measuring. So I'm going to do the first hole for all 35, all 36. Sorry, 32 with the 3 extras. And then I'll adjust the jig over, do the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, and so on. This is a 3/32 drill bit. The rivets I'm using are 3/32 rivets for the nose ribs. 3/32 rivets going into the nose ribs. Recommended drill size is 40. Right now I only have 3/32 drill bits, so I'm going to start with 3/32 and then scale up to number 40 drill bits once those show up in the mail. The 3/32 drill bit is the minimum diameter limit for an MS 470 AD3 rivet. So I got a little bit of wiggle room there. Two holes down, so you guys can see that. 2 holes down, jig is working nicely. Just give you a sense of what I'm doing. Put that right there. Just lines up. Hits the stop right there. And that is my hole. We're all done. There we go. I'm gonna round off this corner right here so it's not sharp. And then the next step is to cut like a 45-degree angle right there and right here so that there's a little bit of clearance when I go to rivet this, so it's eventually going to look like there are cuts like that. I'm gonna do some 45s. Okay, all the pieces now have the 45 and the holes. We're gonna sand the corners down right now. I'm gonna stand next to the heater because it's cold in the garage. I need an extra heater, probably. Or this needs to just run for maybe an hour or so before I come in here because it is freezing. Awesome thing to show you guys. So cool. Ready? No more dungeon lighting. Look at that. Alright, back to the build. So now I actually have my numbered drill bits, 1 through 60, and I'm going to drill number 40 holes in each of the nose ribs and through these and cleco them. That way I'll be ready to squeeze the rivets together once my rivet squeezer comes. Boom. There we go. the ribs are drilled, I'm going to deburr the holes, and these will be ready for primer. And then I just need to wait for my rivet squeezer to come in. All the holes are deburred. So next step, I'm going to get a Brillo pad from Lowe's and scuff up some of this stuff so that it's not as shiny, especially these. And then it'll be time to prime and then rivet together. I want to try and get these done, painted and riveted before I start on the middle ribs. There'll be a nice little thing to like say I completed. I haven't completed any permanently assembled pieces on this project yet, so that'll be kind of fun to say that these are assembled and ready to go. A little bit of a burr. The belt sander did most of the work. It's a little rough right there, a little rough right here. So I'm just going to lightly go over that with some sandpaper using my compressor, and those should be ready for priming after that. Well, after I get the Brillo pad, which I still haven't ordered, but soon. All the stiffeners have been deburred on the edges, so these are ready for priming once they get Brillo padded. Have to go to Lowe's and get that. Today we're gonna scuff up the ribs. Got two different types of Brillo pads. Gonna start with the 800 just to see what it does. We'll probably end up using the 360. I got all my tables in a row because I'm trying to get rid of a couch. So the garage is a little bit messy, but luckily we're working with small parts today. Once it's scuffed, we'll start painting. Rust-Oleum self-etching primer. You know, it's just for parts that are going to be in contact with each other. So no need to get fancy with the paint. nose ribs are scuffed up. I'm going to spray paint them with my self-etching primer. They will be ready for riveting. It is paint day. Got these set up right here on cardboard. I'm using the Rust-Oleum self-etching primer. It's a lovely little green color. Riveting time. I actually riveted one off camera because I wanted to practice a little bit. Came out really nice. And then some of my practice pieces, you know, some ugly, some okay. Overall, I think I'm doing an okay job. So now it's time to rivet all of my nose ribs. A little bit more. There we go, first two. Just for the record, that is my air setting on the gun. So facing this way, it's just above the 2 and halfway down on the notch, and then pressure at the compressor is at 30 psi at the regulator. So in case any of you guys are, you know, trying to figure this out, a lot of trial and error on my practice piece helped me get to that. Nice, beautiful piece. I'm going to drill that out. It's a little wonky. So, you set the rest of these, I'll drill that out, and I'll document that process. I'm just using the number 40 drill bit that you would use to drill these holes. And I drilled into the center, not sure if you can see that. Drilled into the center right at the machine head. And now I should just be able to break it off on the other side. And there we go. Broke it out. There's the other side. And I can re-rivet that. Boom, like new. Yeah, just a couple little scratches, nothing too bad. I'll just go over that with a little bit of paint, and we'll be good. After all that riveting, all the pieces are done. The one that I had to repair from the scratches, I actually ended up doing it twice, but that's the repair job. Just some more spray paint on a brush, covered it up, and we're good to go. That's it for this video. Next up, we're going to be doing the middle ribs. My My wife's gonna help me on that because it's a lot and my hands were hurting after doing the nose ribs. I'll see you in a couple weeks.